Hello, welcome to Ansika High Academy, and this is the series of Tamil Nadu Board History 12th class, and this is chapter number 16 in this video. The Indian National Movement 1917 से 1947. Learning objectives of this chapter are mainly 6 topics of this chapter that we will cover in this video. First, the life of Mahatma Gandhi and his innovation in Indian freedom struggle. Second, the impact of Jallianwala Bagh massacre on the national movement. Third, the Khilafat and non-cooperation movement. Fourth, the civil disobedience movement and the salt satyagraha. 5. The Quit India movement and its impact on the freedom struggle. 6. The cabinet mission plan. Advent of Gandhi. The third and the final phase of the Indian national movement 1917 से 47 is known as the Gandhian era. During this period, Mahatma Gandhi became the undisputed leader of the national movement. His principles of non-violence and satyagraha were employed against the British government. Gandhi made the nationalist movement a mass movement. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born at Porbandar in Gujarat on 2nd of October 1869. He studied law in England. He returned to India in 1891. In April 1893, he went to South Africa and involved himself in a struggle against apartheid, racial discrimination against the blacks for 20 years. Finally, he came to India in 1915. Thereafter, he fully involved himself in the Indian national movement. Mahatma Gandhi began his experiments with satyagraha against the oppressive European indigo planters at Champaran in Bihar in 1917. In the next year, he launched another satyagraha at Kheda in Gujarat in support of the peasants who were not able to pay the land tax due to the failure of crops. During this struggle, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel emerged as one of the trusted followers of Gandhi. In 1918, Gandhi overtook a fast unto death for the causes of Ahmedabad mill workers, and finally the mill owners considered the just demands of the workers. On the whole, the local movements at Champaran, Kheda, and Ahmedabad brought Mahatma Gandhi closer to the life of the people and their problems at the grassroots level. Consequently, he became the leader of the masses. Rowlatt Act 1919. In 1917, a committee was set up under the presidency of Sir Sidney Rowlatt to look into the militant nationalist activities. On the basis of its report, the Rowlatt Act was passed in March 1919 by the Central Legislative Council. As per this act, any person could be arrested on the basis of suspicion. No appeal or petition could be filed against such arrest. This act was called the Black Act and it was widely opposed. An All India Hartal was organized on 6 April 1919. Meetings were held all over the country. Mahatma Gandhi was arrested near Delhi. Two prominent leaders of Punjab, Sir Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, were arrested in Amritsar. Jallianwala Bagh massacre 13 April 1919. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place on 13 April 1919 and it remained a turning point in the history of India's freedom movement. In Punjab, there was an unprecedented support to the Rowlatt Satyagraha. Facing a violent situation, the government of Punjab handed over the administration of the military authorities under General Dyer. He banned all public meetings and detained the political leaders. On 13th of April, the Baisakhi Day Harvest Festival, a public meeting was organized at the Jallianwala Bagh Garden. Dyer marched in and without any warning opened fire on the crowd. The firing continued for about 10 to 15 minutes and it stopped only after the ammunition exhausted. According to the official report, 379 people were killed and 1137 wounded. In the incident, there was a nationwide protest against this massacre and Rabindranath Tagore renounced his knighthood. As a protest, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre gave a tremendous impetus to the freedom struggle Khilafat movement. The chief cause of the Khilafat movement was the defeat of Turkey in the First World War. The harsh terms of the Treaty of Sevres 1920 was felt by the Muslims as a great insult to them. The whole movement was based on the Muslim belief that the Caliph, the Sultan of Turkey, was the religious head of the Muslim all over the world. The Muslims in India were upset over the British attitude against Turkey and launched the Khilafat movement. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, M.A. Ansari, Saifuddin Kichlu, and the Ali brothers were the prominent leaders of this movement. A Khilafat committee had been formed, and on 19 October 1919 the whole country had observed the Khilafat Day on 23 November. On 23 November, a joint conference of the Hindus and Muslims had also been held under the chairmanship of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was particularly interested in bringing the Hindus and Muslims together to achieve the country's independence. Subsequently, the Khilafat movement merged with the non-corporation movement launched by Mahatma Gandhi in 1920. Non-corporation movement 1920 से 22. These unnecessary voices are permanent. I am sorry for that. Keep it up. Non-corporation movement 1920 से 22. Mahatma Gandhi announced his plan to begin non-corporation with the government as a sequel of the roller take Jallianwala Bagh massacre and Khilafat movement. It was approved by the Indian National Congress at the Nagpur session in December 1920. The programs of the non-corporation movement were surrender of titles and honorary positions, resignation of membership from the local bodies, boycott of elections held under the provisions of the 1919 Act, boycott of government functions, boycott of courts, government schools and colleges, boycott of foreign goods, establishment of national school, colleges and private panchayat courts, popularizing Swadeshi goods and khadi. The movement began with Mahatma Gandhi. The movement began with Mahatma Gandhi renouncing the titles which were given by the British. Other leaders and influential persons also followed him by surrendering their honorary posts and titles. Students came out of the government educational institutions, national schools such as the Kashi Vidyapit, the Bihar Vidyapit and the Jamia Millia Islamia were set up. All the prominent leaders of the country gave up their lucrative legal practice. Legislatures were boycotted. No leader of the Congress came forward to contest the elections for the legislatures. In 1921, mass demonstrations were held against the Prince of Wales during his tour of India. The government restored the strong measures of repression. Many leaders were arrested. The Congress and Khilafat Committee were proclaimed as illegal. At several places, bonfires of foreign clothes were organized. The message of Swadeshi spread everywhere. Most of the household took the weaving clothes with the help of charkas, but the whole movement was abruptly called off on the 11 February 1922 by Gandhi following the Chora Chori incident in the Gorakhpur district of UP earlier on 5 February 1922. On an angry mob set fire to the police station at Chori Chora and 22 policemen were burned to death. Many top leaders of the country were stunned at this sudden suspension of the non-corporation movement. Mahatma Gandhi was arrested on 10 March 1922. Significance of non-corporation movement. It was a real mass movement with the participation of different sections of Indian society such as peasant, workers, students, teachers and women. It witnessed the spread of nationalism to the remote corners of India. It also marked the height of Hindu-Muslim unity as a result of the merger of Khilafat movement. It demonstrated the willingness of ability of the masses to endure hardship and make sacrifices. Swaraj Party. The suspension of the non-corporation movement led to a split within Congress. In the Gaya session of the Congress in December 1922, leaders like Motilal Nehru and Chitranjan Das formed a separate group within the Congress known as the Swaraj Party. On 1 January 1923, the Swarajists wanted to contest the council elections and wreck the government from within. Elections to Legislative Council were held in November 1923. In this, the Swaraj Party gained impressive successes in the cultural legislative. In the central legislative council, Motilal Nehru became the leader of the party, whereas in Bengal the party was headed by C.R. Das. The Swaraj Party did several significant things in the legislative council. It demanded the setting up of responsible government in India with the necessary changes in the Government of India Act of 1919. The party could pass important resolutions against the repressive laws of the government. When a committee chaired by the Home members, Alexander Mohiuddin, considered the system of hierarchy as proper, a resolution was passed against it in the Central Legislative Council after the passing away of the C.R. Das. In June 1925, the Swaraj Party started weakening. Simon Commission 1927. The Act of 1919 included a provision for its review after a lapse of 10 years. However, the Review Commission was appointed by the British government 2 years earlier of its schedule in 1927. It came to be known as Simon Commission after the name of its chairman, Sir John Simon. All its 7 members were Englishmen, as there was no Indian member in it. The commission faced a lot of criticism even before its landing in India. Almost all the political parties, including the Congress, deciding to oppose the commission on the fateful day of 3 फरवरी 1928 when the commission reached Bombay. The general Hartal was observed all over the country. Everywhere it was greeted with black flags and cries of Simon go back. All at Lahore, the students took out of large anti-Simon Commission demonstrations on 6 October 1928 under the leadership of Lala Lajpat Rai. In this demonstration, Lala Lajpat Rai was seriously injured in the police lathi charge and he passed away after 1 month. The report of Simon Commission was published in May 1930. It was stated that the constitutional experiment with diarchy was unsuccessful, and in its place the report recommended the establishment of autonomous government. There is no doubt that the Simon Commission's report became the basis for enacting the Government of India Act 1935, Nehru Report 1928. In the meanwhile, the Secretary of State Lord Brinkhead challenged the Indians to produce a constitution that would be acceptable to all. The challenges was accepted by the Congress, which convened in an all-party meeting on 28 February 1928. A committee constituting the 8 was constituted to draft the blueprint for the future constitution of India. It was headed by Motilal Nehru. The report published by this committee came to be known as the Nehru Report. The report favored dominion status as the next immediate step, full responsible government at the center, autonomy to the provinces, clear-cut division of power between the center and the provinces, a bicameral legislature at the center. However, the leader of the Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, regarded it as a detrimental to the interest of Muslims. Jinnah convened an All India Conference of the Muslims where he drew up a list of 14 points as Muslim League demand. Civil disobedience movement 1930 से 34. In the prevailing atmosphere of restlessness, the annual session of the Congress was held at Lahore in December 1929. During the session, presided over by Jawaharlal Nehru, the Congress passed the Purna Swaraj resolution. Moreover, as the government failed to accept the Nehru report, the Congress gave a call to launch the civil disobedience movement. The Congress had also observed January 26, 1930 as the day of independence. Since then, January 26 had been observed as a day of independence every year. The same date later became the Republic Day when the Indian Constitution was enforced in 1950, the Dandi March. Thus, the stage was set for the second major struggle led by the Congress. On 12 March 1930, Gandhi began his famous march to Dandi with his chosen 79 followers to break the salt laws. He reached the coast of Dandi on 5 April 1930 after marching a distance of 200 miles, and on 6 April formally launched the civil disobedience movement by breaking the salt laws. On 9 April, Mahatma Gandhi laid out the program of the movement, which included making of salt in every village in violation of the existing salt laws, picketing by women before the shops selling liquor, opium and foreign clothes, organizing the bonfires of foreign clothes, spinning clothes by using charkha, fighting untouchability, boycotting of schools and colleges by students, and resigning from government jobs by the people. And above all these, the program also called upon the people not to pay taxes to the government. Soon the movement spread to all parts of the country. Students, workers, farmers and women all participated in this movement with great enthusiasm. As a reaction, the British government arrested important leaders of the Congress and imprisoned them. Round Table Conference. The British government adopted the strategy of talking to different political parties by convening the Round Table Conference. The first Round Table Conference was held in November 1930 at London, and it was boycotted by the Congress in January 1931. So, in order to create a conducive atmosphere for talks, the government lifted the ban on the Congress party and released its leaders from prison. On 8 March 1931, the Gandhi Advent Pact was signed. As per this pact, Mahatma Gandhi agreed to suspend the civil disobedience movement and participate In the second roundtable conference in September 1931, the second roundtable conference was held at London. Mahatma Gandhi participated in the conference but returned to India disappointed as no agreement could be reached on the demand of complete independence and on the communal question. In January 1932, the civil disobedience movement was resumed. The government responded to it by arresting Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Patel by reimposing the ban on the Congress Party. Pune Pact in 1932. By 1930, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had become a leader of national stature, championing the cause of the depressed people of the country while presenting a real picture of the condition of these people. In the first roundtable conference, he had demanded separate electorates for the roundtable conference. He had demanded separate electorates for them. On 16 August 1932, the British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald made an announcement which came to be as the communal award. According to this award, the depressed classes were considered as a separate community, and as such provisions were made for separate electorates for them. Mahatma Gandhi protested against the communal award and went on a fast unto death in the Yarbada jail on 20 September 1932. Finally, an agreement was reached between Dr. Ambedkar and Gandhi. This agreement came to be called as the Pune Pact. The British government also approved of it. Accordingly, 148 seats in different provincial legislatures were reserved for the depressed classes in place of 71 as provided in the communal award. The third roundtable conference came to an end in 1932. The Congress once more did not take part in it. Nonetheless, in March 1933, the British government issued a white paper which became the basis for the enactment of the Government of India Act 1935. The Second World War and national movement in 1937 elections were held under the provisions of the Government of India Act 1935. Congress ministers were formed in 7 states of India on 1 September 1939. The Second World War broke out. The British government, without consulting the people of India, involved the country in the war. The Congress vehemently opposed it, and a mark of protest of Congress ministers in the provinces resigned on 12 December 1939. The Muslim League celebrated that day as the Deliverance Day. In March 1940, the Muslim League demanded the creation of Pakistan Individual Satyagraha during the course of the Second World War in order to secure the cooperation of the Indians. The British government made an announcement on the 8 August 1940, which came to be known as the August Offer, envisaged that after the war, a representative body of Indians would be set up to frame the new constitution. Gandhi was not satisfied with his offer and decided to launch Individual Satyagraha. Individual Satyagraha was limited, symbolic and non-violent in nature, and it was left to Mahatma Gandhi to choose the Satyagrahis. Acharya Vinoba Bhave was the first to offer Satyagraha, and he was sentenced to 3 months imprisonment. Jawaharlal Nehru was the second Satyagrahi and imprisoned for 4 months. The Individual Satyagraha continued for nearly 15 months. Cripps Mission 1942. In the meantime, the Viceroy Lord Linlithgow expanded his executive council by including 5 more Indians into it. In July 1941, however, in the midst of worsening wartime international situation, the British government, in its continued effort to secure Indian corporations, sent Sir Stafford Cripps to India on 23 March 1942. This is known as Cripps Mission. The main recommendations of Cripps were the promise of dominion status to India, protection of minorities, setting up of a constituent assembly in which there would be representatives from the British states along with those of the British provinces. There would be provisions for any province of British India not prepared to accept this constitution, either to retain its present constitutional position or frame a constitution of its own. The major political parties of the country rejected the Cripps proposals. Gandhi called Cripps' proposal as a post-dated check. They did not like the rights of the princely states either to send their representatives to the Constituent Assembly or to stay out of the Indian Union. The Muslim League was also differentiated as its demand for Pakistan had not been considered. Coincided in the proposal Quit India movement 1942 से 44. The failure of the Cripps mission and the fear of an impending Japanese invasion of India led Mahatma Gandhi to begin his campaign For the British to quit India, Mahatma Gandhi believed that an interim government could be formed only after the British left India and the Hindu-Muslim problem sorted out. The All India Congress Committee met at Bombay on August 8, 1942 and passed the famous Quit India resolution. On the same day, Gandhi gave his call of do or die. On 8 or 9 August 1942, the government arrested all the prominent leaders of the Congress. For once, this pre-planned action of the government left the Indian people without leadership. Mahatma Gandhi was kept in prison at Pune. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Abul Kalam Azad and other leaders were imprisoned in the Ahmednagar fort. At this time, leadership was provided by Ram Manohar Lohia, Achyuta and S.M. Joshi. The role of Jayaprakash Narayan in this movement was important. Large number of students also left their schools and colleges to join the movement. The youth of the nation also participated in this movement with patriotism strikes. Demonstrations and public meetings were organized in various towns and cities. Slowly, the movement reached the rural areas in 1943. As the movement gained further momentum, there were armed attacks on government buildings in Madras and Bengal. In 1944, Mahatma Gandhi was released from jail. Quit India movement was the final attempt for country's freedom. The British government ordered for 538 rounds of firing. Nearly 60,229 persons were jailed. At least 7,000 people were killed. This movement paved the way for India's freedom. It aroused among Indians the feeling of bravery, enthusiasm, and a total sacrifice. Indian National Army. During the course of the Second World War, armed revolutionary activities continued to take place. The role of Subhash Chandra Bose towards such activities is incomparable. On 2 July 1943, Subhash Chandra Bose reached Singapore and gave the rousing war cry of Delhi Chalo. He was made the President of Indian Independence League and soon became the supreme commander of the Indian National Army. He gave the country the slogan of Jai Hind. The names of the INA's three brigades were the Subhash Brigade, Gandhi Brigade and Nehru Brigade. The women's wing of the army was named after Rani Lakshmibai. The Indian National Army marched towards Imphal after registering its victory over Kohima. After Japan's surrender in 1945, the INA failed in its efforts. Under such circumstances, Subhash Chandra Bose went to Taiwan. Then, on his way to Tokyo, he died on 18 August 1945 in a plane crash. The trial of the soldiers of INA was held at Red Fort in Delhi. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Bhulabhai Desai and Tej Bahadur Sapru fought the case on behalf of the soldiers. Cabinet Mission 1946. After the Second World War, Lord Attlee became the Prime Minister of England. On 15 March 1946, Lord Attlee made a historic announcement in which the right to self-determination and the framing of a constitution for India were conceded. Consequently, 3 members of the British Cabinet, Patrick Lawrence, Sir Stafford Cripps and A.B. Alexander, were sent to India. This is known as the Cabinet Mission. The Cabinet Mission put forward a plan for solution of the constitutional problem. Provision was made the 3 groups of provinces to purpose their separate constitutions. The Cabinet Mission also proposed the formation of a Union of India comprising both the British India and the Princely States. The Union would remain in charge of only foreign affairs, defense and communication, leaving the residuary powers to be vested in the provinces. The proposal was envisaged for setting up an interim government which would remain in office till a new government was elected on the basis of new constitution framed by the Constituent Assembly. Both the Muslim League and the Congress accepted the plan. Consequently, elections were held in July 1946 for the formation of a Constituent Assembly. The Congress secured 205 out of 214 general seats. The Muslim League got 73 out of 78 Muslim seats and interim government was formed under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru on 2 September 1946. Mountbatten Plan 1947. On 20 February 1947, Prime Minister Attlee announced in the House of Commons the definite identification of British government to transfer power to responsible Indian hands by a date not later than June 1948. Thus, to effect the transference of that power, Attlee decided to send Lord Mountbatten as Viceroy to India. Lord Mountbatten, armed with vast powers, became India's Viceroy on 24 March 1947. The partition of India and the creation of Pakistan appeared inevitable to him. After extensive consultation, Lord Mountbatten put forth The plan of partition of India on the 3 June 1947, the Congress and Muslim League ultimately approved the Mountbatten Plan. Indian Independence Act 1947, the British government accorded formal approval to the Mountbatten Plan by enacting the Indian Independence Act on 18 July 1947. The silent feature of this act were the participation of the country into India and Pakistan would come into effect from 15 August 1947. The British government would transfer all powers to these two dominions. A boundary commission would demarcate the boundaries of the provinces of Punjab and Bengal. The Act provided for the transfer of power to the constituent assemblies of the two dominions, which will have full authority to frame their respective constitutions. The Radcliffe Boundary Commission drew the boundary line separating India and Pakistan on 15 August 1947. India and on the 14 August 1947, Pakistan came into existence as two independent states. Lord Mountbatten was made the first Governor General of independent India, whereas Muhammad Ali Jinnah became the first Governor General of Pakistan. The most tragic incident occurred on 30 January 1948 when Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, on his way to a prayer meeting was assassinated by Nathuram Godse. Learning outcomes of this chapter are following. First, Gandhi's early experiments of satyagraha made him a mass leader. The corporation movement and its success. The political activities between 1922 and 1930, such as Swaraj politics and anti-Simon struggle, the civil disobedience movement, Roundtable Conference, and the Pune Pact. The Quit India movement and its impact, the role of an INA in the freedom struggle, the cabinet mission to the independence of India. Thanks for watching.